third grade. Happy Wednesday. This is our last lesson of chapter 12, and it's our last lesson that you're going to be learning today and this week. So we've talked about shapes. We've talked about open and closed shapes. We've talked about plane figures. We've talked about polygons like triangles and quadrilaterals. We've talked about types of quadrilaterals. We've talked about types of shapes. So now we're going to take all of that information that we have and we're going to tie it together on how we can write areas and how we can divide equal shapes into equal parts and then bring fractions into this, okay? So we can split shapes into different shapes and we can describe those shapes by using fractions, right? So let's investigate. We have this shape and I'm looking at the shape and I see that it has four sides. I see that it has four angles. I know that this is a quadrilateral. It's first a polygon because it's a closed shape and it has nice straight sides. So what happens when I take this polygon or this quadrilateral and I cut it down the middle, okay? Do you see now that we've made two different new shapes? Do you know what those new shapes are called? Remember, three sides, three angles, those are triangles. Great job. So you can split this shape in half and from the diagonal and you can make triangles. Okay, so what I want to talk about right now is how we can describe those triangles using fractions. Okay, so we see this friend, it has two equal parts. We know it's equal because if we flip it and move it to the side, they'd be the exact same size piece, right? That's what a fraction is. A fraction is when you split something into equal size pieces. If it's not equal, it's not a fraction, okay? So our shape are equal pieces. So each of these parts would be considered what? What would I call one of these pieces? I hope that you understand that each part is 1/2 of the whole thing, right? So this is 1/2, this is 1/2, okay? So if we were talking about area, we could say that the area of each part, right? Because the area is the inside. We learned that in chapter 11. The area of each part is 1/2 of the whole shape, okay? So if we were talking about area of this rug, we could talk about this half and this half. Maybe this half is blue and this half is green, okay? So talking about each part, we're also talking about the inside, which is the area. So the fraction, what fraction is going to tell us how many holes there are, okay? How would I say one whole when I'm talking about halves? Remember, don't forget, the fraction 2/2 names the whole thing. 1/2 plus 1/2 is 2/2, okay? So that was pretty easy, right? But what if we split this shape into something else? Are you ready? So instead of splitting it in halves, what if we split them into 4 equal pieces? Now let's look at these pieces. What would we name that piece? Remember, there's quadrilaterals, pentagons, triangles. What shape is this? You're right. The new shapes that we made are little quadrilaterals, okay? So now what would you call one of these parts? You would call it 1/4. Do you see that each part is 1 out of 4 pieces, right? So if we're talking about a shaded area, right, this shaded part of the inside, we can say each one of these parts is equal to 1/4 of the whole shape's area. This is just a review on fractions, right, friends? So how would I describe the whole thing, right? 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4 equals 4/4. Do you see how if I even need 4 fourth size pieces to make this whole area, I need to fill this whole thing in, I would need 4/4. All right, awesome. So now that we've done that, we can also divide things into 3 parts that are equal, but they're not the same. Okay, so they're equal in area, meaning they have the same area inside, but they do not look the same, okay? So how many parts do we have in this whole rectangle? How many parts do you see? I see a blue part, a green part, and a pink part. So each part is 1/3 of the whole thing. Now, They're equal, but they do not look the same. Okay? So it takes how many thirds to make one whole? How many of these do I need to make a whole? If you told me that you need 3 1/3 parts to make a whole, you're right. 1/3 of this piece plus 1/3 of this piece plus 1/3 of this piece means that we're going to have a whole thing. So now this is where we're actually going to talk about area. Do you remember that area were the square units inside? So this part, the blue part, is 1/3, or how many square units? If you're thinking 5, you did a great job. All I have to do is count the inside of the blue part. How about the green part? 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, 5. Remember, if it's 1/3, it has to be the same size. So that means this one is 5 and this one is 5. There's a different way to make 5, but it's still the same amount of area. So this purple part is also going to be 5. So if I have 5 in this part, 5 in this third, and 5 in this third, how much do I have in the whole thing? Right? It's just like me adding my thirds together. I know 3/3 equals a whole, which means that I know if I add all these 5s together, I'd be able to find the area. Okay? So that's kind of what we're talking about today. So let's do a couple more review problems, and then we'll be able to go on to our classwork. So we're selecting the trapezoid that is divided into 6 parts that have equal area. Remember, area is the inside, or equal size parts. So does this one have equal size parts? No. This side and this side do equal each other, but if you compare these pieces, this one's bigger than this one. How about this guy? Not quite, right? Because this one's a little triangle and this one's a very big triangle. But how about this one? Do I have 6 parts? Are the triangles equal? Yes. So this would be the correct answer. That would be the trapezoid that is divided into 6 parts with equal size areas. Okay? So the equal parts are called what? So we know this whole thing is a trapezoid, but what are the little parts called? Squares, rectangles, triangles, or trapezoids? If you thought triangles, you're right. These little pieces put together make a trapezoid, but these are called triangles. The area of each part. So does that mean the whole thing, or does that mean one part? Well, I gave you a hint. The top number means how many you're counting. Because we're talking about each, we're just counting about one. So one what? What would we call these size pieces? I hope you're thinking 6. Because yes, if it's 6 equal pieces, then one of each part is going to be 1/6. Okay? Again, it should be a little bit of review. Now, here we go. We need to select the rectangle that is divided into 4 parts with equal area. So equal area means that each of the parts are the same size. Do they have to be the same shape? No, but they have to be the same size. So let's check our parts. That's the only way you can do it. If I look at this shape and I count how many squares or the area is in each of the parts, they should all equal the same. This part right here has 3 right here, and 1, which equals 7. But this part right here only has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Are those equal areas? No. How about this one? This little friend has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. But what about this one? 3 and 3 does not make 5. It actually makes 6. So does that mean these are equal areas? No. So if this one's not equal and this one's not equal, obviously by process of elimination, we should know this is the right answer. But can we check? Yes. So this piece has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this one also has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 4 parts with equal areas means the same size. Not the same shape, just the same amount. The area of each part is how many square units? Oh my gosh, we totally figured this out when we were double checking our answer. The answer is 6. Each of these equal parts has 6 square units. We are counting how many squares are in the box. That is what area is. The area of each part is how much of the whole rectangle, right? Look at this rectangle. How many parts do we have? We have 4 equal parts, which means that one piece or one part is going to be called 1/4. Guys, I hope this is enough review for you, understanding how to split something equally to find the area, which is the inside of a shape, and to figure out what each piece or the whole thing would be called. So now it's time for you guys to go into your personal math trainers and to go ahead and do your best work. Don't forget to use all of the tools that are on the side. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Goodbye.